Okay, so welcome to today's session, and this session is on behalf of the Axminster Wellbeing Centre for the charity Be Well, which is funded by the National Lottery. So let's begin. If you have Franklin balls, and I know you both do, then we'll start off with some nice massage for the feet. Okay, just really getting in there, sort of getting the inside edge of the foot and the outside edge. Get your toes nicely moving. Everything just really nice, pressing in there. Okay, change sides unless you have done so already. Just nicely massage inside there, outside. Few more, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. So still using your Franklin ball though, we're going to bring some length to our bodies, and this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you from the side. I've got the ball underneath the heel and I've got my toes grounded, and I'm going to be pushing into the ball to come up on that side and then come back down. So this is what it looks like from the front. So again, I'm going to be pushing, coming up and then coming back down. What that does is that opens up your ribs and just also gives a bit more space in the hip. If you don't have Franklin balls at home or anything like that, then you can just continue with massaging your feet, doing lots of nice play that way. So here we go, just nicely pushing into that ball. A few more, 3, 2, and 1. Let's change sides. And again, the same thing the other side. So again, pushing in and coming back. Lovely, and it's gentle tone for the legs, so it's quite good for anyone with knee injuries. More, and 3, and 2, and 1. Lovely. Okay, let's move the balls to the side. Let's do some nice arcing. So push your hips back, bend your knees, hang your head, let everything go. Let yourself be there, let your neck hang, let your shoulders hang. And exhale. Rock to the front of the foot, push away the ground. Inhale, eyes just open. And settle. Now let's take it into a little wave, a little feather here, feathering down. Just let your neck go, let your shoulders go. There, maybe do a bit of bouncing, a little bit of rocking. A few more. Exhale there, push down, breathe in, inhale, eyes just open. And settle. Let's take it a little bit wider. Take it into rotation. Fingertips nicely tapping into your sides. No tension, no holding. Let's get that swing. Moving the neck. Nice gentle down ups. So I'm doing this one for mobility at the moment, but we can turn that more into stretch if you wish. So for example, I will do a few pushes here and there to sort of open up through the hips. Okay, or you can carry on doing a little bit of rotation like that, or you can do some pushes. Or if you want a bit more tone, then you'll take your imaginary tennis racket and give a bit more swing. A few more, 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Okay, let's take it into standing side stretch. Okay, so breathing in, inhale, reach, exhale, come back. Now with this stretch, I'm currently doing the ribs, but it can be other parts of your body. So taking the other arm, maybe it's chest, for example, maybe that feels good today. Or even if you're going across the body, maybe try going things like maybe more that way rather than up, or maybe up to the side a bit. See what happens, because you often get a few different stretches along the forearm, wrist, palm up, palm down. What does that do? 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, soften knee. Inhale, reach, come up and over. Let's change sides. And again, reaching and come back. And again, take it into rotation maybe, or opening up. You know, what feels good to you? Does it feel good if you do a certain movement with your shoulder? Like when I go, for example, forward and then open a little bit, it feels quite a nice stretch under the shoulder blade there. So just play with your movement a little bit today. A few more. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, soften knee. Inhale, reach, come up and over. Let's do vibration. So we have our vibration, our neck, our shoulders. What is it? It's quite cold outside today, and it can be quite hard on the joints. So maybe wrists need a little bit of your attention, or ankles, knees, hips. You can even again take the Franklin balls and do some tapping. Or you could even just use your knuckle if you wanted to. But yeah, gentle tapping. And the point of the tapping is, again, it loosens the muscle fibers. But I often sometimes hear people sort of really pounding on themselves, and that actually hurts. So it should be quite light tapping. If your muscles are wobbling, that's how you want it to be. You don't want this sort of resistance with it. Okay. Self-massage, you have lower back, hamstrings, calves, hip flexors. If you are deciding on hip flexors today, then do it in flexion, because you're going to get into the fibers far greater than if you're up here, because they put up a resistance when they're in too much stretch. Again, you have your shoulder massages, maybe some shoulder massage there, or your neck, maybe you need to massage out your neck. Might be getting a bit tense over the news, so a lot of tension normally goes into the neck and shoulders. Okay, from there, let's do some nice big movements. So swinging, sort of swimming movements, backstroke, some shoulders, and then you've got your quad stretches, your glute, hamstrings, and calves. Lovely, so you should be quite warm and ready to go. So grab your mats, if you, well, you've probably got them already rolled out. I don't, let's roll out the mat. And let's begin with the cat. So I've got a cushion under my knees to protect the knees, hands nicely underneath your shoulders, nice long spine, down towards the ground, reaching up into a C shape, come back into length or take it back, for lower back. Perhaps take it to your left or your right, maybe going forward, feathering. I always find it interesting when adding in the feathering with the cat, because I always notice like the right shoulder on myself sort of really flows and the left side doesn't. So for example, that's a sort of similar thing for you, maybe emphasize the other side a little bit more. Get some nice freedom, but we'll always have more freedom one side just because of things like driving, looking over our blind side, like that. Particular sport we might choose to do. If you have a big stability ball at home like this, you can again do different cat, like taking it back, take it to the side, but if not, you can just carry on with the basic cat. So for example, if you take it more forward, that'll be stretching out your top part of your body. If you take your body back, that'd be more lower half. It's just really nice to sort of stretch out different areas of your body that basic can't normally achieve. Couple more moments here, counting you down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's now draw head towards me. Exhale in. Inhale, lengthen. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's change size. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Reach back into a shell stretch. Have a moment there to breathe. Inhale, sides and back of rib cage. Breathing in and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. And one more, breathing in and exhale. And come all the way up. Okay, so today we're going to be focusing on hands and knees swimming. I'm going to be going through all the different layers. But if you feel like you want to go straight into a certain move that you know well, then please just go with that and rest when you want to rest. Have a drink when you need it. So my hands are going to be on the mat, just on the edge of the mat. If this is not comfortable for you, then of course you can take your hands off if that's a better position. I'm going to start off with a diagonal press up. So I'm going to go down towards the ground first, and then I'm transferring weight onto left hand, and my right hand comes off, then down towards the ground and transfer to right, just like that. Okay, now that's obviously upper body. Nice bit of upper body there. Nice and gentle toning, hopefully not too much pressure on the wrists. So that's upper part of the body. Now, if you want to work lower half of the body, then you would change your tempo a little bit. So for example, I would take it back first, a bit like a shell stretch, and then transfer the weight over, and then take it back first, and then transfer the weight over. These are also rest positions as well. So when we progress it and it gets more challenging, you can always come back to these movements. Okay, so a few more like that, unless you've gone into the stronger versions, which I haven't got to yet. Okay, one more there. All right, okay. So we can either now, again, I've got my weight more forward, I'm going to use my leg. I'm going to go down first and lift a leg. Down first, then lift the other leg. Okay. Be conscious of where your neck and shoulders are in this position. You don't want it to be compromised, no tension. Think about your range of movement. You don't have to go all the way down towards the mat to get a good exercise. Okay, so that's forward. Again, that's upper body. I'm now going to take it back for lower half. So taking it back and then forward, back and then forward. So again, that's lower half of the body. So that's stretching out the quads, working the glutes as you go back there. You might start to feel that after a certain while. Okay, now we're going to take it into some reaches. So you can start same arm, same leg. So I'm still taking it back. That's also quite nice on the wrists. But if you want to again work upper body, then you would take it more forward. And again, same arm, same leg. Think about timing. Maybe slow it down, stronger, harder. Feel that in the legs more when you slow it down and hold for a little while. So choose your versions. I'm now taking it back. A few more like this. And the rest when you want to rest. Drink if you need it. Okay. Next one, having a little rest break here, taking the arm back and then coming forward and reaching. Now, the reason I'm taking it into this is because when we do the hands knee swimming with a reach, you actually get a bit more extension through the ribs. Rather than lifting, you don't get that same sort of stretch. So I'll be adding this sort of movement in a little while to the full hands knee swimming. And it's also quite nice to have that rest and take it down a little bit. All right, I'm going to add it on now. All right. Also, it also feels quite nice and it flows very nicely there. A few more like this. Maybe you can take it down, up and down in variety. Mix it around. I'm going to add in a sort of windmill movement now. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm transferring my weight back and forth. That's really lower half of the body with a bit of shoulder mobilization. Or you can bend your elbow, which looks a bit like a seesaw, and that's more upper body. I'm not going to say that my lower half of my body is still working quite hard there, but the emphasis is a little bit more on the arm. Okay, again, so I had windmill for lower half, also shoulder mobilization, and then we also had elbow with a bit of a seesaw going on there. We also have pendulum going back and forth. That's quite challenging, I find it quite tough. Good on the old legs. So if it was legs you're working on today, this will sure do it. Other side. A few more, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, sit back into shell stretch. Have a moment there to breathe. Maybe it's a rest you just need. Breathing in, inhale, sides and back of rib cage. And exhale. 2 more, breathing in. And exhale. Last one. And exhale. And come all the way up. Okay, so we're going to be laying on our tummies for the next one. The wedge is going to be thick apart to your feet, underneath your hips. And we're just going to have a nice little massage here for a moment. If it's back that you need to massage, then let's focus on that a little bit. Just nicely massaging. Good for the shoulders to have that sort of wobble, if you like it. Okay, so I'm going to be adding tone to my cooperative rock in a minute. So here it goes. So for example, still got my hands underneath my forehead. I'm going to draw left elbow to left knee, and I'm pushing into the ground as I do it. Now I'm pushing so strongly into the ground that I can feel my tummy muscles contract. Okay, and that's what I want you to feel, is this sort of tone in the tummy as you push into the ground. So you're pushing and sliding. Now, my arm is staying in contact with the floor there. I'm not lifting it. I'm not lifting my head or anything like that. Now, I'm very aware that the idea and concept of pushing into the ground can sometimes be a little bit, I don't know, misleading, confusing. So I'm also going to change it a little bit. If that's difficult for you to feel your abs as you do that movement, if it doesn't trigger automatically, then brace your abdominals first before you do it, or brace or tense them up first and then do it. And that might have a different feeling for you if you weren't able to achieve it the way I said originally. All right. So yeah, tense them up first if that helps. This one's a really good one for balancing out hips, shoulders, and so on. I'm just going to come and have a little look at you guys. Good. So we have also massage or the tone version as you're pushing from one side to the other. So the more push you put into the floor, the stronger it is. But again, like I said, if that is hard to do, then just brace your abdominals first, and it hopefully should trigger that feeling. Okay, just a few more like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do lower half. Well, let's do the back of the leg here. So I'm going to start with the right leg. Push and slide a leg away, and then you can do some pulses. Okay, so you can add, if you want to, a point or a flex, but your leg should stay nice and long. You should be feeling the tone sort of down the hamstring and possibly in the top part of your bottom. And I am going to say change legs when you want to change. You don't have to wait for my cue. You can just change, or you can massage in between, have a drink if you need to. We want good movement. We want good results from the exercise we do. And when we get tired, sometimes the form of the exercise wasn't as good as it first was. That's why it's important to have those breaks. I'm changing legs, so pushing and sliding away. Got the pulses there, adding a bit of point and flex. Yeah, really for that nice tone in the back of the legs. Just a few more like this. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm going to show you this side first. I'm going to take a hand out to the side, so it is same arm, same leg, pushing the heel of the hand into the floor to straighten the arm. Okay, and then I'm going to take that leg back. So what that should achieve is a nice stretch through your tummy. You might feel it through your hips and your upper body. Okay, then I'm going to return back. I'm going to repeat on that side. So again, push. Now, if your elbow is not lengthening out, then maybe it's because it's too close to you. All right, so just play around with where that heel of your hand should be for you to be able to push and lengthen out. Because you should get a lovely stretch through your ribs, through your hips, through the upper body, possibly your shoulders. Just do a few more on that side, but you can change when you want to. I'm going to do two more. I'm not saying there's not tone involved. I can still feel my hamstrings working there. Okay. Okay, so again, pushing. And coming back. And maybe you get more stretch on one side than the other as well. A few more. I'm going to do 3 more on this side. 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, take it back into your massage, nicely rocking from side to side and bringing your legs up. Have a good, nice little rock there. Then again, slide hands back, push up and over into a shell stretch, and just breathe there. Inhale, sides and back of rib cage. And exhale, breathing in. And exhale and come all the way up. Okay, so we're going to have our wedge. We'll be lying on our side, and you can have your wedge 2 ways. So you can either be like this. So if you've got a Franklin wedge, I always think about it as having the tassel at the bottom there. And the thicker part's always to the back of you, and the thinner part will be to the front. Or you can have it like that, underneath your hips. It's either going to be here, like that, or like that. Okay. Also, I know, I think you both have one of these. Grab your ball. Don't need it, but I might add it in for fun. So let's just lie on our side. Nest position, maybe arm long, perhaps, maybe even arm in front. If you've got your arm in front for shoulder issues, then I'd always put a pillow there. Now legs are into the floor, push and slide them into position, then lengthen top leg. We're going to go up and down. All right, now you don't have to stay with going up and down. You might want to take it a little bit more forward or take it a little bit behind you. Keep your tummy nice and tight, brace those abdominals so that your back can remain long. And if you're having trouble sort of keeping yourself nice and stacked up, you can use that ball to push into to keep those shoulders in place if you want to. Okay. Good. You can rest when you need to rest. You can massage those fibers if you need to at any point. You can pulse it if you like. You can change your tempo on the movement. I've got a flex foot there as well. Point it occasionally. Now, if you've got one of those balls, you can carry on with that if you like. If you have one of these balls, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my heel into the ball and then release it. Okay? Push the heel into the ball and then release it. Now, this should be a little bit different. You'll feel different muscles. And it also gives you a little bit of a break from what you're doing. Okay, because it can be very intense, the other one. So what you might feel necessarily more here, you might feel a bit more quad engagement. Maybe you might feel it more in the shin, perhaps. And I mean, I've got a bit in the thigh there as well. So if you were sticking with this, then it sometimes raids from the ankle, it moves up your leg and gets into that glute that's sort of right into your hip, deep toning muscles. But it's just nice to sort of break it up from that pleasurable burn, I'm going to call it. Pushing into that ball and then releasing can be a nice little option. Just have a break. If you feel like you want to keep toning and not massaging. Okay, so that nice push into the ball and then release. So yeah, I've got that in the inner thighs to do that. And I'm pushing as hard as I can into that ball too. And then releasing it, pushing, and then releasing it. And I find it quite much easier to flex my foot to push rather than if I was pointing. I mean, they work different muscle fibers as well, so you can try a bit of both. But I think the flex foot is a little bit easier to control there. Okay, so if you had a break from that, you can do some figure of eights. Circles, spirals, the ABCs. Lots of nice play here. I'm going to count you down. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg in front. Give yourself a nice massage. We're not done on this side though yet. Okay, I'm adding an arm. Coming up and over and then back again. Coming up and over and then back again. And maybe going forward with the arm. Maybe you've got clunk in the arm and you don't like that sound. You can take it into pulses. You can even push and pulse there as well if those muscle fibers are really starting to give you a bit of pleasurable agony. Okay, those sort of movements. You have reaches and circles, which are great for your ribs. A few more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, taking the leg in front, give yourself a little massage. And then I'm going to take that leg and have a little quad stretch there. And turn the knee in, turn it out, play with those muscle fibers. Lengthen that leg out from you and flex toes knee for a calf stretch. One final massage and then we'll move on to the other side. Okay. Okay, so again, hope you're in a good position. Push and slide legs in place, lengthen top leg, and again, we've got your in up and down. So remember, if you are tired quite quickly on this side, that might be because you've worked the leg already, because you'll notice that the bottom leg is pushing into the floor to lift the top leg. Again, you have your ball there. If you want to press into the ball to keep your shoulders stacked, you might find that it's harder to do that on one side than the other. You might want to feel like rolling or relaxing. Got your pulses. Or you can add that ball with a little push if you want to work more inner thigh. So again, you can push and down. Yeah, that works in the thigh quite a bit. Depending on how hard you're pushing, of course. Okay, so we got figure of eights there again. More spirals, ABC circles. And do a combination of that little push if you feel the need to, or massage when you need to. Good, you've got your arms in there as well, coming up and down. Playing around with your shoulder movement. More pulses. Again, using the ball to push. 3, 2, 1. Maybe some circles. Three, 2, 1. Lovely. Okay, take that leg, give yourself a little massage through those areas that you felt it the most. And take it into a little stretch here. Turn the knee in, turn it out, play with your position. Lengthen the leg out, flex toe towards knee for a calf stretch. Bring the leg in front and give yourself a massage. Okay, and come all the way up. We are going to be coming to a seated position. I'm going to have a little drink. Now, I'm going to roll up the mat and sit on it, and you might want to sit on your wedge as well. If you have any little handheld weights, this also might be a good exercise to put weights in with, but if not, you don't need it. Okay. I'm going to start with a bit of mobilization, and then we'll take it into a bit more of a cardio exercise, but you can stay with the mobilization if you wish, and if you want to add weights to it, you can. Okay, so you've got your traction there, sitting up nice and tall, and we'll start off with rocking. Okay, so we'll do some nice mobilizations first of all. You can adjust your leg, coming up, taking it forward. So you might get some nice stretch in the back of the leg there. Reaching it up. Just a few more. I'm moving quite quick, so if you want to sort of slow it down, you can. So for example, maybe you're doing a few pushes of your bottom to get a little bit more reach. That might be a nice option. Or pushing forward, get a bit more reach there. Lots of nice play. 3 more, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Okay, so you can stay with that if you wish. I'll readjust my wrist support. Or you can add weights to this next one. So for example, I'm going to use my Franklin balls as an example of weight. And let's start rocking back and forth. All right. And then we're going to start punching. So we're going to punch like you're boxing. Okay. Now try and relax your hips here. So if you feel like you need to make them go a little bit further away from you, that might be a good idea. So that's a repeat side I'm doing currently. Really good for the tummy muscles there, and obviously there's muscles down the side, but I'm also leaning quite far back. So I'm pushing through. Yes, I'm not upright, I'm back. All right, I'm changing sides. And again, punch, punch, punch. Pushing with your bottom to make that work as well. If I wasn't pushing my bottom, it would look like this. There's not a lot of energy going through the upper body, so I'm really driving through the bottom. It's like boxers, they use their legs to throw a punch, so it's the same thing. Right, you can also repeat either sides. Again, you're pushing with your bottom. Maybe you're staying with the mobilization versions and the stretch. That's all good. Maybe you want to take it up. I'm still leaning back. Pushing with the bottom. Maybe going a little bit further with your punch. That gives a bit of stretch. That gets your heart rate up too. Almost there. I'm really leaning back, reaching. I'm going to count you down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Breathing in, inhale sides and back of rib cage. And exhale. Breathing in. And exhale and come all the way up. Okay, great. This is where we start to calm down our session now. We're going to roll out our mats again. Lay on your backs. I'm just going to readjust the camera, I think. Let's see here. Let me readjust that a little bit. Okay, so we're lying on our backs. Okay, wedge is underneath you, thicker part closer to your feet. And this is really nice for your back, but first of all, let's just start off with a nice massage, a nice rock from side to side. Get the head moving in the same direction as your knees. Nicely rocking there. Nicely massaging. Head, maybe it's your back, maybe you want to emphasize, do some rocking one way, then the other. A few more. Okay, maybe you want to bring your knees into your chest and do some nice massage there. Some tough stuff in today's session. Tackled everything, upper body, legs, abs, bit of everything there. Okay, so let's imagine you have a grape or an olive underneath your back. And you're going to squish that olive. So it's a little squish. And then you're going to release it. Now there's a difference, and I've been making a point of saying this lately, that years ago when I first started doing Pilates when I was 14, they used to teach you to jam your back into the floor. Now that jam, no doubt you can feel your abdominals, but also it shortens everything, and actually it caused people more problems because it was forcing the back to do something it wasn't naturally supposed to do. So that's why we just teach a little squish. Now it's very gentle, so you're just going to almost like touch the floor and then come back. So you're not really forcing your back or putting too much effort into that movement. So yeah, just a nice little squish. Squish your grape or your olive, whatever you're thinking about, and release it. Okay, just a nice little touch there. And then release it. Again. Lovely. Okay. So I'm going to come up into a shoulder brush position, but you can, if you want to stay with just that movement or squishing your imaginary object, that's fine. But I've got my feet grounded, elbows into the ground. I'll be using these muscles to come up. So there's tone on the way up and relaxation on the way down. Breathing in on the up and breathing out on the way down. So you squish first, then you come up, breathing in. Okay, then exhale. And that breath should just last as long as the downward part itself. So breathing in, did your squish first, and then exhale. And again, breathing in, squish first, and exhale. Lovely. You can add your ball in with this. You could always pop it between the legs if you like the feeling of working the inner thigh still on this one. So again, you'd squish first, breathing in, changing things a little bit. It sort of engages your glutes, engages obviously the inner thigh a little bit more. Then exhale to come back down. That's always a nice little add-on if you wish to do that. This next time round, I'm going to be adding in a bit of feathering. So squishing first, and then I'm coming up on my right, and then I'm rocking to come up. Then exhaling to come back down again. And again, squish first and come up. But because I went on my right before, I'm now going to do my left, which makes a little bit, feels a little bit weird because we always favor that one side, but it's good to change it up a bit. And then settle back down, taking note of what side comes up first and what side of your body comes down first as well. Now I'm going back up on my right, feathering to come up, breathing in and exhale. Drifting your spine back down. Again, squish, coming up. And again, going back down. Just a few more moments here. Again, squish. And then exhale to come back down. Great. Now this time we're going to stay grounded. We're not going to come up into a shoulder bridge position. This time I'm going to add in a rock, but I'm staying grounding. So for example, I'm now squishing with the right part of my back. So rock to my right, and my left side of my back is unweighted. It's not in contact with the floor, okay? But my right side is. Then I release it, and I'm going to move to the other side. So now the left part of the back is in contact with the floor. And then you release it to come back to center. Then the right side. Then release. Then left. Then release. And then the right. And then release. A few more like this. One more. Okay. If you want to, you can continue what we have just done, or we can have a back stretch. Now for this, you would need a wall. Okay, I've still got the wedge underneath me, thicker part to the feet. So if you are by a wall, this is a really lovely back stretch, and often puts your pelvis in a good place as well if you're having trouble with hips or anything like that. So I've got the feet on the wall there. Okay, I'm not really going to think about squishing my back into the mat. Instead, I'm going to focus on my feet. So when you push the feet into the wall, that should automatically squish your back into the floor. Okay, and then release it. And what that does is it's gentle knee toning. It also, you should feel how your back sort of stretches a little bit with that, because obviously you're pushing against the resistance. But as you push into the wall with your feet, your back should lengthen along the floor there. Now, don't think you have to stay with your feet pushing at the same time. Perhaps you want to change it about a bit. Perhaps you want to go right push, left push with foot. Relax. And that will change your hips about a bit. Or left foot, right foot. See how that feels. So again, adding a bit of asymmetrical movement there. But this is just fine. You might find yourself quite long after this exercise. You might find that you've got a longer neck. A few more moments. Good, last one. Wonderful. Okay, let's take it into a glute stretch. So whatever you're doing, you can just take it into a nice glute stretch. A little bit of rock or a massage. And then change sides. And then come all the way down, have another final rock, and then I'd like you to make yourself nice and comfortable for a little bit of relaxation. So perhaps you want to put some nice music on, or turn the lights off, or put like warm on, maybe a cushion under the head or under your knees. Just make yourself nice and comfortable. Okay, I think we're almost there. Lovely. Okay, so hopefully the last part of our session was able to relax certain parts of your body, maybe it was your hips or your back or your neck, something like that. But if there are still areas of tension in your body, then really focus your breath to those areas. So for example, if you breathe in and breathe out, draw your attention to your neck and shoulders. Feel how they drop with that breath out. Maybe it's your hips. This time you'd breathe in and breathe out. That'll be a longer breath to your hips. Perhaps your knees, breathing in and breathing out. Visualizing your breath going down towards your knees. And then there's your feet. Breathing in and breathing out. Be a longer breath to get to your feet. So wherever you are choosing, just really focus on that breath and that area of your body that you need to try and relax. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and that breath may start off deep and long, and then maybe it becomes softer and quieter. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. Four. Three. 2. And 1. As you feel that breath move through your body, bring depth and volume into your chest. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, feel your toes move, your knees, your hips, your fingertips, your shoulders, your neck, face and jaw. When you are ready, bring your knees into your chest and massage. And when you are ready, bringing your knee coming up to a seated position. We'll do some breath work before we come standing. Okay. Breathing in and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. One more. Exhale. Take your time coming to a standing position. I'm going to roll it on the mat, some balances. And here we go, breathing in, exhale, and again, exhale. See how our balances are today. Breathing in, exhale. Breathing in. Exhale. Last one. Exhale, take it into your arc, push your hips up, bend your knees, hang your head, let everything go. Exhale there. Rock to the front, push away the ground. Inhale, eyes just open. And well done. And thank you for joining me today.